Okay, so let me clarify about Job. See, Job was upright, honest, loved God and his family and everything. Satan came to God with some of the angels. This is in the Bible. Satan came to God with some of the angels, and God was like, Satan, what you been doing? And he was like, looking for who I could chew up and spit out. And God was like, did you think about Job? See, God suggested Job to the devil because Job was doing such a good job at serving him. God was like, hey, have you thought about Job? Because when you talking about chewing somebody up and spitting them out, my man has a lot of stuff. And Satan is like, yeah, I've thought about him, but you won't let me get him, or I would have done got him. God's like, go ahead then. And Satan's like, I bet you if I get him, I bet you he ain't gonna be on your team no more. And God was like, what you want to bet? It's like that movie Trading Places where they bet the dollar and took Eddie Murphy's life and switched it with. So God is like, I bet you he won't curse me. And Satan's like, I bet he will. And God is like, bet. And so he lets the devil go and kill all Job's kids, take all his cattle, all his land, all his everything, set it on fire. And then Job is still like, God, I know this wasn't you. I know you ain't set me up like this. So I'm going to still serve you. God like who? The devil come back over God's the next day with the angels. Angels are bringing the devil over God's. Look it up. And so God's like, Satan, what you been doing since yesterday? And the devil's like, same thing. Look at who I can chew up and spit the fuck out. And so God is like, my boy Job again. He's still, what I tell you. I told you he wasn't getting ready to turn his back on me. I got this man in the mind. It don't matter what happened to him. He ain't gonna do it. He gonna still believe in me because he's a dummy. And the devil's like, bet you if he's sick, okay, I killed his kids and everything, he might not even like them kids. But what about if I getting in his body? And so God is like, what you gonna do? He like, I'm gonna put sores all over him. I'm gonna make him in pain. He gonna be in chronic pain. His body gonna curl up on him. And God like, I bet. Do it, bruh. Do it, bruh. And I bet you when you come back, he ain't gonna turn his back on me. So Job was like, God couldn't be doing this. Job's friends, his wife, everybody was like, hey, God is doing you dirty, bruh. You don't need to follow him no more because they talking, they conspiring against you. Job is like, bitch, you crazy. And so he wasn't having it. And so he never did curse God. And God's like, you know what? Since I won the bet and you didn't turn your back on me, even though you didn't know it was me suggesting that the devil come and do this to you, double for your trouble. Who wouldn't serve a God like this? Huh?